YouTube, what it do is your boy Benji. We back in between the ropes. This was a September to remember. We fresh off an AEW Collision Dynamite episode. It was just a lot going on, alright? I'm gonna talk about it, talk about some things I liked, and let's vibe, man. Let's get straight into it, man. I do want to appreciate each and every one of y'all that have been subbing up, that have been dropping likes, that have been letting me know matches to check out. Lovely. I appreciate y'all. Let's go, man. The show opened up with Hangman, Paige, and Kyle Fletcher meeting up to do contract signings. Hangman is ready to put Kyle and the rest of the family into the ground, the Don Callis family that is, and he wants Kyle to fight on his own, though. He mentions that Kyle is going to be the future of the industry and that he sees a lot of potential in the young 26-year-old, but if anyone were to interfere, Kyle would be stripped of the TNT Championship. That makes things interesting, but I still believe it to be pretty obvious that Kyle Fletcher's going to lose this match. Kyle gets on the mic and spits some real spill. And it's likely the things that he said really threw Hangman off. He isn't scared of the proposition that Hangman gave him. He don't need anybody but himself. He questions Hangman, though, because there are hundreds of other stipulations that he could have thrown into this match, and he kind of feels a little bit sad that he didn't. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Kyle Fletcher's been growing on to me. Well, growing on me. Ain't growing on to me. But anyways, he does let Hangman know that the Protostar is the better wrestler and that he will leave Hangman bloody and battered after the match. But I don't really get this whole say my full name thing. What is, like, it's like a middle name thing? It's like middle name Josiah? Like, alright. We then get a matchup between Roderick Strong and Jon Moxley. If you did think that the line of haters and enemies that the Death Riders had stopped anywhere soon, nah. Everybody on that roster hate these boys. The commentary team spends a good chunk of the match mentioning that Moxley has a side advantage over Roderick, who opened up the match by kicking Daniel Garcia into a new hoodie. One thing I did say, and I do feel like I noticed about the Death Riders, is that Marina is really a menace. She is always antagonizing the dudes, but not like in the typical valet fashion. She's ready to go to blow with these dudes. Like, dude, man. These guys went at it all match, and there was a strange moment, though, I'll admit, that when Roderick Strong threw Mox off the top rope, they both landed pretty awkwardly. The commentary team tried to do all they could to kind of, like, save that, but it was kind of ugly. In the end, in typical Death Riders fashion, Wheeler Yuta was able to slide in and steal the day, allowing Mox to put Roderick into a chokehold and win the match. The show got to flowing, man. The next segment was MJF, which I thought was pretty dope, that instead of hearing a summary about a wrestler going to go talk to the boss, we actually catch it. We see MJF walk into the office of Tony Khan and hear the audio of the two of them going at it. MJF asks to wiggle out of his match with Briscoe, and then he lets Tony know that he owes MJF a favor, to which Tony disagrees. MJF gets real loud, gets real upset, and promises to put Briscoe in the dirt. And it's going to be on Tony's hands that another Briscoe is underground. We didn't get a match of the big boys. Toa Liona versus Bobby Lashley. We got a Samoan, folks. These big boys go to war and things really get cooking early as Lashley gets Samoan dropped onto the apron, leading to Toa taunting the Almighty. Interestingly enough, the crowd is really behind Lashley big time. And I mean, obviously, Lashley is a legend, but these are two bad guys, two heels going at it. But it's obvious that one bad guy is somewhat undeserving and nefarious. And it ain't Lashley. The announcers let me know, too, that this is one of the only times that Lashley had the opportunity to get pinned. He actually had not been pinned in AEW up to this point, so I thought that was interesting. I'm catching up pretty quickly. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Like I said, I'm relatively new to AEW, so I think it is dope. Again, how the commentary team does a really good job allowing you to catch up and catch in if you are not someone who is paying attention to weekly programming. Once Lashley catches momentum, Ricochet ends up saving Big Toa, leading to Lashley spearing Toa outside of the ring. MVP starts putting the beat down on Ricochet like a daddy trying to discipline his son. And Bishop Khan thought he was safe and ended up catching a big kick from Shelton. There was this big push, like just big man move that Toa did that I thought was going to pin Bobby. Luckily it didn't. And Bobby eventually ended up applying the Hurt Lock, and this begins the war. He won the match, but man, everybody jumped in that ring as soon as the bell rang. And dude, MVP broke his cane on Ricochet's back. I ain't gonna lie, for this weekend, I really don't believe that Ricochet and his boys stand much of a chance. It'll be an exciting match at the very least, but them boys taking the L. I really enjoyed this segment too. It was the face-off of Edge and Christian versus FTR. FTR shows up with like a dozen security guards, and dude, Stoke is really going on me as well. He proposes that if anyone touches him, there'll be a hefty fine, and he will see to it to make sure that the match gets canceled in front of the possible teachers, family members, and friends that Christian and Edge or Cope got lined up in their hometown of Toronto. The crowd does not like these dudes either. FTR gets booed so loudly when they get on the mic. And they mention things like how much they looked up to Edge and Christian. And even at one point, Adam Copeland was a mentor. They even name dropped Gargano and Ciampa as one of the many mighty matches that they had over the last 11 years as a tag team. This does end up in a brawl. So that was a little bit surprising to see. Like, dude, Stokely said it was $500,000 fine if these boys get touched. But Christian got on the mic and said, man, that might be a lot of money. And you might be able to buy yourself some hoes with that money. But it doesn't matter much to me because I'm rich. So these guys get after it. And like, they always leave my boy bloody. I think Christian caught him with a mic. And a sight that I love to see, the Young Bucks are back and balling. They are throwing around the money they won, even gifting the reporter 10 racks. They're giving money to the people in the crowd. Dude, they bribed the production team to get their entrance theme back and all the pyro in the world. We even got a video package of these dudes hitting the slots with the new money they won. I am new to AEW, but the Bang Bang Gang, I don't really get them. They're a little new to me. Anyways, as the match gets underway, the Bucks continue to show everyone how good they are. The sliced bread is a good move. Some of these moments that they jump outside of the ring, really good. Of course, there's even a funny moment in the match where Nick tries to pay off the referee. All in all, this is an entertaining match, but it is the Bucks who will head into that four-way ladder match at All Out. Y'all see what that money makes somebody do. D-Boys on a roll. Next match we get is Mascara Dorada versus the Beast Mortos. We knew these dudes were going to come to hoop. Mascara is insane. Move after move. This match is the one that really kept me glued to the screen. I mean, Mascara ends up winning with a big shooting star press, and he will face Okada for the belt. We do see Don and Okada show up, but Takeshita comes out right after, reminding everyone that he'll be in that title match too. Okada ends up catching a crossbody from my boy Mascara, so it looks like the onus is going to be on Mascara and Takeshita. Next segment we get is Toni Storm walking out, and I will let you know, she has a way with words. The tramp is still the champ is amazing. She lets the women know that the only way for her to lose the title is for her to be burned to the ground. We then see Jamie Hayter come out and let Toni know that she's not a fan of the spotlight and that Hayter hits hard. Statlander shows up and she wants a piece of the title as well. And just as Toni was about to drop some heat, Thekla shows up to interrupt and then ends up walking to the ring for a match against Queen Aminata. This is a no-holds-barred match, and I ain't gonna lie, these women are getting after it, bro. I can't say I liked it as much as the Toni Storm match. That one was super creative. Did the rat traps and everything, that one was just exciting, creative, and insane. But yeah, these two women waste no time rumbling, and they get the weapons ready. They are pretty violent with one another. We see chairs, trash cans, kendo sticks, and all. Aminata dropped Thekla with a crazy fireman suplex onto a pile of chairs, yet Thekla still kicked out. In the end, it was Thekla who returned that favor with a big stomp on top of the pile of chairs to win the match. It was crazy that Aminata brought the rah-rah to the ring last week, and yet she was a victim of violence. Of all this rah-rah. Mayhem ensues, and Statlander and the Death Riders show up, and Toni, and there's a lot going on. Statlander doesn't want to let the Death Riders know that she don't need their help. So it was interesting to at least see her let them know that she don't need their help and that she don't really need to deal with them. So there's a little bit of beef and tension building over there and everywhere. I will say they've done a pretty good job, which, like I said, typically these multi-man matches, they've done a lot of them with the women in the pursuit for the titles. And again, I'm not really typically a fan of using that to advance storylines, but they've done a really good job utilizing these matches to create microcosms amongst all the wrestlers that was involved. The matches of the night were all pretty good. We got to see Jetspeed versus Saban and Killswitch. I mean, there were plenty of high-flying moves to the outside. You know we're going to catch in a Jetspeed match. And I'll mention, walking to the ring, the commentator team lets us know that things are not okay within the tandem of Killswitch and Saban. And it lends itself to be true because Killswitch ends up leaving my boy out to dry in the match. And he gets put down. Mama is not happy, so I'm going to be interested to see where this goes. I don't know if it's going to be beef between these two or it's just going to be a clean break at the seams. Backstage, we do see Big Bill call out Eddie again, and he ends up calling him a fraud. Darby Allin also requests that Bryan Danielson does not get involved in his match, and Bryan ends up agreeing if Darby can agree to the stipulation that Bryan ends up whispering to him. Don't know what that's about. We may not get any knowledge of that because the commentary team ends up asking Bryan about it, and he's like, can't tell you. We did catch a match between Riyo and Robin Renegade. I haven't really seen Robin yet, so I thought it was going to be really interesting. I really did enjoy listening to Mercedes on the mic and, of course, watching her sit next to this collection of title belts. Renegade was pretty cocky, and even though she had Mercedes' support, Riyo had no fear and ended up ending the match with a crucifix bomb and glared at Mercedes. Of course, Ms. Monet wastes no time because she's just strategic. She's tactical. She's smart. And she puts that girl down with a backstabber. Riyo, you better count your days. It's getting bad. Because Mercedes going to send you to the back of the line. Y'all let me know in the comments below if y'all think that Mercedes is going to end up losing a belt. She's got plenty to spare. I don't think she cares, but hey, she's a champ for a reason because she cares about each and every one of these belts. The Don Callis family ends up winning this match. But that's just the beginning of the madness. Everyone heads out to the ring, including all the tag teams, Don Callis, Hangman, and of course Kyle Fletcher. We even got to see Bandito hit this crazy moonsault to all the people. A well-placed title shot to the face, interrupting Hangman Page's lariat, sets the stage. That boy Kyle hits this boy Hangman Page with a brainbuster that was similar to what took out Kenny Omega and busts this dude through a table. He ends up standing tall at the end of the scene, raising both titles, and that was the end of the show. So it did lead me a little bit curious because, hey, that was a lot of aura coming from Kyle Fletcher, but then I came into my senses and I said, but this dude ain't winning. He ain't beating Hangman. But I'm excited to see what this will be because this is going to be a monumental moment for him. And I think moving onward, this is going to be fine. But this is a good show. Like I like the way they combined the shows. I like the way this was September to remember. Like they did a lot here in order to try and incorporate all the fans, the people that were willing to watch this. And at the end of the day, you got filled in, bro. Because if you're watching this on HBO Max, you got a series of video promos following this match as they went off the air live. So all out might be kind of crazy. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this show below, man. We like to rate everything with a yay, nay, and in the middle somewhere, you got okay. This is a yay show, I ain't gonna lie. A lot of good in the ring work. I'm not too mad. The storylines are pretty simple, easy to get to it. There are some complexities in some of them that y'all let me know about as well. At the end of the day, no real hiccups, no real complaints here. I don't really get the whole Kyle Fletcher, you said my name thing, but at the end of the day, the substance of what they talked about in the promos and pretty much what I saw amongst all these guys in the promos was true, reigned true, and was integral to the storyline. So, salute, man. Good TV. Gotta love to see it.